Shoot the puck this time on English. First time ever, actually.
Really?
Yes.
I'm honored.
Do
Do
you feel special?
I do feel. I always feel special, but especially right now, I feel extra special.
That's good. I'm gonna try, or we're gonna start to do some quick ones.
Okay.
So, what's your full name?
Emily Madeline Kaplan.
What's your age?
33. I had to think about it.
Youth club.
I played field hockey.
Okay.
Hockey around the world for Spirit Eagles FC. That was our squad and my high school team.
Family.
I have 2 sisters, Leah and Eva.
Where do you live?
I live in Chicago, Illinois.
How much money are they paying you?
This is so blunt and Swedish. I love it. In the U.S., we make some decent money in media. So Sweden, pay your stars.
You're rich if you come to Sweden right now.
Excellent.
And I'm super poor right now.
Excellent. We could be really rich if we came to Canada.
Yes.
Dollar's very weak here.
Yeah, it's a big difference just coming from Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge difference. We should go shopping.
Yes. Go out, have dinners and all that. So what do you eat?
I try to eat kind of healthy. I know you're on the vegan train a lot of the time. I grew up not eating red meat, so we eat a lot of like chicken and turkey, but breakfast, yogurt, granola, nothing crazy. Trying to up my protein intake. I think that's the new trend. Lots more protein. I might need protein shakes. Protein's hard.
What do you drink?
Alcohol, water.
What do you watch?
Coffee. I watch shows. I love comedy. Anytime I can't think of what to watch, I'll watch Curb Your Enthusiasm because I literally just die laughing at the end of every episode.
I know you talked about that, but I haven't watched it yet.
You need to watch it. It's so good. We're both friends with Jonathan Lindquist. He is Larry David.
Okay, I remember that then.
No, he's more like, who's the tall guy in Seinfeld? Anyway,
Kramer?
Maybe your viewers understand this, maybe they don't.
He's always Kramer in my
Kramer, that's it. He's Kramer.
Yeah. What do you listen to?
I listen to anything. I love pop music. Dua Lipa is my favorite right now. I love indie, electronic. I love rap. I don't love country, though. Country's the one that I just can't get into.
No, I never got stuck with that either, actually.
I know. The one country artist I kind of like is, why am I blanking on her name, too? I love her so much. Everyone gets mad at her because she's too pop, and it's not Taylor Swift.
Beats me.
I'll come think of it.
Yeah. What do you read?
I have a really bad habit of not reading fiction because every time I want to read, I want to like learn information. Like when I was a kid, I only took out books at the library about science, like dinosaurs and space. So right now I'm reading Daniel Kahneman's book. He's a behavioral socioeconomist. It's interesting, but maybe in the summertime I'll get some more beach reads and try to force myself on fiction.
What do you play?
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what that translates, but
yeah, I don't know either.
Play. What do you play?
Love to play games. I love bar games, pool and darts. Pickleball is very big in the U.S. I love to play like a good pickup game. I think tennis I want to get more into in the summer. Anything out and being active. Is that the translation of what you were asking?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, good.
That was what I was looking for.
Excellent.
What do you follow?
Ooh, not religion. I follow other sports. I've recently gotten into football. So Chelsea FC is my team. Unfortunately, I picked a really tough team to support because they spend a ton of money and can never win, but it's always a good drama every year.
And we've seen you do some interviews, or at least a couple of phrases here and there in Swedish. Have you improved it anything over the years? Or?
I have. Well, so I like to thank players in their native language when they do an interview with me, just to remind the audience here in the U.S. that what they're doing is hard, and they have to think of the words, and like it just kind of humanizes them and gives a little more empathy. I used to thank players by just saying tech, and I think when they're in the English mindset, it was hard for them just to recognize what I was saying. So I learned tech or tech så mycket, which is good. I think the pronunciation's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, with me, obviously, it's only the bad words. I only hear the bad words.
See, you're never teaching me any of this.
No.
How do we say hi? Is it Shanna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, tjena is
Tjena.
Tjena. Yeah.
The funny thing about this is, so I thank the players in the native language, and when it was Czech players, the way it's spelled out, I always thought it was Dekuje. So for like 2 years, I would tell David Pasternak or Filipino Dekuje, and my boyfriend was watching one day and was like, Emily, that's not how you pronounce it at all. They're just being polite, like it's Jacqui. So I've got to fact check a lot of these.
But I mean, you met a lot of the Swedish players, of course, over the years. But who would you say is some of your favorites to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, we're in Edmonton right now, and Matthias Ekholm is a fantastic interview. He's always super clear with his thoughts. He's got an authoritative point of view, maybe because his wife is in media, so that helps him a lot. Over the years, there's been so many good ones. Like, I've always wanted Nicholas Backstrom to speak to the media more, but I feel like when he does speak, it's soulful. Like, he has something to say. Victor Hedman's always a favorite in Tampa. I know he doesn't like doing media, but again, like, if you ask him a pointed, direct question, like, he's got a good opinion and voice on the game.
So if you have to go to an island for 72 hours with a Swedish player, who would it be?
Willie Stiles. I think it's got to be Nylander, right? Like, he'd bring the party, fun vibes.
Yeah. I mean, he was having a lot of success even back home in Sweden during the Global Series, because he did a podcast. No, not a podcast, TV show, like with Bianca Ingrosso, who's a really big, like, superstar back home pretty much. So I think he reached like another audience in a way.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw some clips of it.
I saw the clips of him in Sweden for the Global Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was living his best life. Everything he did, he was just smiling and generous with personality and swaggy and stylish. Yeah, I saw him. And
he showed up in the TV thing he was doing with a white tank top, or he had like some kind of shirt or something, and he took it off like when he made the entrance.
Yes, okay, yeah. So the talk show clip is what you're talking about. That did come over to the US as well.
Yeah.
I think with subtitles.
Yeah. So also, it's not too long ago you spent some time in Sweden.
I did.
It's a lot of talk about Sweden now.
We love Sweden. In fact, I'm always getting on at these finals because someone just came up to the locker room and was like, Emily, why are you always hanging out with the Swedes? Because I enjoy you guys. But yeah, so a good friend of mine is Kajsa Kalmius, who's also a journalist in Sweden. And so I came over 2 summers ago, went to spend time with her in Gothenburg where she lives. She's so proud of Gothenburg. It was beautiful.
She is.
It was a great relief for my European summer too, because it was so hot everywhere else and I was borrowing wool sweaters from her. We went all the way up to Ovik, where Jonathan Lindquist hunkers down, I would say, in his no electricity, no water cabin. Yeah. That was a fun time, and ended in Stockholm. So I got a bit of the Jewish, I don't know why I said Jewish there. The thing I said that I thought was funny is I'm Jewish, and Jonathan's mom made us like traditional Swedish food. Yeah. And it was so similar to Jewish food. Like the pickled herring, the flat bread, like a lot of your traditional dishes. Salmon, we're always big into lox, cured fish. So the typical Swedish and maybe Jewish experience. Yeah, but we had a couple of, it was how many days, can't remember now, when you went to Örnsköldsvik. We were, because I went up there for only one night. It was gorgeous though. Yeah. Like, I think you hear about all the guys that want to go move back there that are from there, and I never understood it until I saw it. And I was like, if I was from this community, I'd be so proud of this community and the way it looks. 3 days, 4? Something like that. Maybe. We stayed at Jonathan's sister's also. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. And did you go down to? Did you went to Hagakusten? Do you remember that? No. No. I don't think you did. You were supposed to do it, but it's beautiful up there. Yeah, I would love to return. Yeah. And Kajsa goes sailing every summer, so I think that's a nice way to see your country too. Yes. Yeah, because you didn't go sailing when you were in Gothenburg, right? No. It was too rainy. I don't remember why. Probably. It's like the Swedish Vancouver. Nice. Yeah. But are you having any plans to go to Europe this summer? I am. I'm going to Paris for the Olympics. Oh. So I'm really excited about that. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I think every day is going to be a new challenge, and I don't think I'm going to get the typical Parisian experience because all the Parisians are probably gone because they don't want to be part of that big, inconvenient event. But I grew up loving the Olympics. It's just the purest form of sport, and athletes training all for their entire life for one moment. So I'm really pumped about just taking it all in.
But how much sports do you do outside of hockey right now?
Not
Nothing,
much.
right?
I covered the NFL, American football.
Yeah.
That was my first job in the U.S. before I came over to hockey. But it's really hockey full time. So I told my bosses too, I'm like, I'm not preparing at all for the Olympics. I can't. Like, I'm in hockey mode. I'll show up, and my job is to cover news, and whatever news unfolds, whatever that means. It's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, because you started out as a writer.
I did.
And I know that all the writers around the NHL circus, they're very proud of you, of course, because you were kind of one of them who became a TV personality. But did you ever aim to go to TV, or was that something that just happened?
No. Like, I got my dream job right out of college, which was to write for Sports Illustrated magazine.
Yeah.
And I would write 4,000-word magazine articles. And that's the coolest thing, because you can sink your teeth into a topic, write with nuance, really understand the character and development, and just talk about sports in that way. And then ESPN called me about a hockey job. At the time, I was just writing because we didn't have the TV rights. And hockey was my love growing up. It's a sport that I loved following the most. So I took it, but again, just to write. And once we got the rights back to broadcast games, I just volunteered, and I said, I'd love to try it. I'd love to, see if you can give me a game here. Maybe I thought they'd give me like a college hockey game. And lo and behold, opening night, first time ESPN had the rights back in 17 years, I'm between the benches as the Lightning are raising their championship banner. And I'm like, what? Like, how did this happen? Like, it's definitely a bit of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But I've grown more comfortable in it. It's all about the reps. And I think my writing background has helped me, because you have to be so judicious with your words. I only get 20 seconds to speak sometimes. So it's all about self-editing and things that I'm not doing in this podcast interview because I'm just rambling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something else if you have 20 seconds.
Yeah, think about it though. It's insane. And I mean, your biggest fear is talking over play, because we're there to broadcast and document the game, and we want to watch the game. So the second the puck drops, you're like, please be an icing or end your sentence.
Yeah, because we talked about that a couple of days ago, that you're one of the few people, like you basically alone, maybe one more camera guy or something, are getting like as close as possible to the ice, just basically 4 seconds before the puck drop. How's that, just to be there on the bench talking to a coach or whatever?
It's amazing, because you witness all of these small moments in the game. And like, even when I'm there just to interview the coach, I'll come up maybe 45 seconds or a minute, which sounds like a forever in real time. And I just kind of observe before I interrupt them. I want to make sure I'm as judicious with my time. And you witness one coach coaching up another player, one player complaining to the ref, two players on the bench kind of whispering to each other about what they want to do on the next face-off. And you just think about how many times all of those things happen during a game. And then when I have the privilege of being between the benches, which I don't do on our main broadcast because that's Ray Ferraro's spot, you see it all. Like, the intensity, the speed, the skill is more accentuated that close up. These are things that are terrible to say for someone who wants people to watch it on TV because it's best live. We just have so much more of appreciation of everything that goes into a game, like literally the blood, sweat, and tears.
But are they all like? Are they always cool, like on the bench? Or I mean, I know you get it, just do your thing, staying away. But is it like hard to do that, like with everything's going on?
A bit. The guys are always like kind of clearing the bench, or I sometimes have to step over things.
Yeah.
The coaches, they don't want to do the interview, like, except for Paul Maurice and John Cooper. Like, no coach likes media, or really. I don't even know a lot of them see the value in it.
Yeah.
But they understand the obligation. And I think some of them do understand, to grow the game, we have to grow these personalities. My favorite coaches, though, like I just get a laugh out of some of them who don't want to do it. Like Peter Laviolette, I know, doesn't want to do it. And I'm notorious for my follow-up questions. I try to listen to what they say and dig deeper. So he'll just talk so long that I have no time for a follow-up question. I'm like, you figured it out, Lavi.
He's smart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when did the playoffs start? Like 20th of April?
Sounds
April
right,
20th?
yeah.
Yeah. And how many days have you been home since then?
I've probably spent like 6 or 7 nights in my own bed. It's tough because I live in Chicago and there's no home games in the playoffs anytime soon. So it's been challenging in that sense. Everyone's joking, I've worn the same pair of pants like 8 days straight. They're my favorite pants, so they're cool.
Yeah, they're good.
Thank you. But it's what I love to do. And typically I get the entire summer off. This summer I'm working 3 weeks at the Olympics, but it's so worth it. I'm so grateful to be here.
Hopefully for you, number 98, even if it doesn't look that good right now, but 98 can turn things around for Chicago probably, and you get to spend some quality time back home.
I hope so. I mean, that kid there's certain players where we know this is the ultimate team sport, where a star player is only playing like a third of the game. And so it's so dependent on the depth around you. And that's why we see Florida looking so good in the Stanley Cup final. But I'd say there's like 3 or 4 players in this league that just have that it factor, where like the second they get on the ice, the entire game tilts and every eye is on him and everything is catered around when that player plays. Connor McDavid is that person. Connor Bedard is that person. Nate McKinnon, Cale Makar. Like, it's a very small group, but Bedard just has that it factor. And if they've drafted as well as the front office thinks they've drafted around him, I think we're only 2 or 3 years away from this team being really good.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
You just need some Swedes on that team too.
There's no Swedes. That limits all of my Swedish friends from visiting me.
Yeah, no good.
They're not one, right?
I think they have the goalie, right?
The backup goalie.
Arvid.
Yeah.
Or Arvid.
I can't roll my R's.
Arvid Söderblom.
Söderblom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel a little bit stupid when I do interviews and I say the Swedish name with an English touch, because you do that kind of.
I do too. Well,
but it's just, for me, it's that I can say the name exactly how it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's sometimes, kind of often, if I do that, because you change the way you speak a little bit, and then you say the name in Swedish, it happens that the other guy's like, "Oh,
who are you talking about?
Oh, you mean Ekholm? Yeah.
How would you guys say Ekholm?
Ekholm.
Ekholm.
Yeah.
Ekholm.
Yeah. So it's just a different.
Or do I sound Finnish?
No, but that was pretty good.
Okay, Matthias.
Matthias. Yeah. So that's basically the same.
It's funny because I think sometimes our tendency is to try to make them sound Swedish.
Yeah.
So like, for example, Jonathan, our friend, for like our first 2 years of friendship, I would call him Jonathan. And he's like, I'm offended by that. And I was like, okay, I should probably still call you that.
But he's offended by a lot of things, though.
Sure, Kramer.
We have to remember that.
Yeah, it's very true.
So I was going to ask you about all the trips and everything, but what do you like, how do you spend your time on the road whenever you get a chance to do something else?
I try, because it's such an easy habit. When we travel this much, you're just exhausted by it. So many people just find the closest steakhouse or Irish pub or whatever restaurant is in the hotel and just do that. And so when I'm in a city, I try to do something that's, I look up a restaurant or a lunch place that I want to go to. I'll try to do something cultural. Like, I'll try to find an art museum. Detroit's art museum, by the way. Like, everyone talks about Detroit. Firstly, super cool city, great food, but one of the best art museums I've ever seen in the world. So like, I'll try to do things like that, or just go for a walk and wander and, experience the city that way. And then I also need to work out so that when I try to eat all of these things, I don't look like I've eaten all these things.
I want to talk to you about your 5 favorite players. And since we've been talking a lot about Sweden, maybe we can do Swedish players.
Perfect.
So you can start with defenders or forwards.
Okay, let's start with forwards. I love Willie Nylander.
Yeah.
Love the way he plays. Love the way he is off the ice. I want him in every one of my media conferences if I'm coach of Emily's Swedish team.
Yeah.
So we got Willie there. Can we take David Pastrnak as a Swede?
He's almost a Swede, no, you can't take him.
Okay,
but
he speaks Swedish.
And we know he's played in Sweden, lived in Sweden, and we know, everybody knows about him back home, but nope.
Okay, fair enough. What other good Swedish forwards do we have these days?
Well, I would have put Mika on my team.
I would too.
Yeah.
It was tough because I cover the Rangers a ton. That's a team that does so well for us at ESPN, and we cover them through the playoffs. And I feel the narrative here in the U.S. is that, like, he just disappeared in the playoffs or just didn't have it. And I didn't see that. Like, I see a heart and soul player who wants to win so bad and has it in him. For whatever reason, just the surroundings around him didn't make sense. But I don't think it's that linear of just he's not a player built for the playoffs. And I think he's so smart in the way that he plays the game, that he sees the game so well. And that's why he's had so much success. So I'm with you. I'll take Mika.
Yeah. And one more.
Why am I blanking on that? I should have done my homework before this.
Yeah, but I also didn't.
Philip Forsberg. Obvious.
Yeah. That's
No explanation needed. He's really good.
That's a pretty good line.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
On defense, I'm still taking Hedman. I
Yeah.
just think there was a time, and it wasn't long ago, like a couple months ago, everyone started talking about him being washed here in the U.S., that his body and the way that he played, it just wasn't going to hold up. And I watched him over the last few months of this Tampa season when they made that push to the playoffs, and he looks like a number one defenseman again. I just think if there's game 7 on the line, who do you want back there? I would pick him amongst the top 10 defensemen in the league still. Would you?
Yeah, definitely. I still think if it has a couple of years after what he showed this season, so he can go on my team too.
And then maybe it's just because we're here, but Matthias Ekholm is such a gamer. He's just good. Like, he's just sound, tough. I think those two as a pairing, like it'd be hard for a lot of forwards in this league to get past them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good another line. I don't know what it's called when you could, like, we combine them.
Fantasy like team, a draft.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Goalie's tough. You guys kind of haven't produced many great goalies recently.
I would say no, we haven't actually. But we have one big name, of course.
Markstrom.
Yeah.
I'll take him.
You should.
I might take Linus Ullmark as well as my backup. You guys are fine on goalies.
And Philip Gustafsson in Minnesota.
Young guy.
He's good. Yeah, he's coming.
And Söderblom.
Okay,
we just want to give him a shout out again.
And we have a really good prospect coming over next season to Vegas.
Okay.
Carl Lindbom.
Well, and who's the other Swedish player for Minnesota? The other goalie?
Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably gonna be a good NHL goalie too.
I think tandems are the new thing in the NHL.
Yeah.
So I'll take Markstrom and Ullmark, please.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What's the rest of your day look like?
Great question. I should probably prepare for tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a big day. So I might go over some notes and think about reports that I want to do in the game. I want to go on another walk. It's a lovely day here in Edmonton. It's kind of Gothenburg weather today.
Yeah, it is.
A bit gray, a bit risk of rain at all moments. And then get a drink with some friends. Dinner with some friends. I was complaining to you, I had too many dinner plan options. So popular, it's so tough.
So popular.
So tough. But we'll have a night, because it could be one of the last nights of the playoffs.
Yes, that was my thought too, that this is probably going to be a night where we have to do something, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Emily, for being on Shoot the Puck.
Tack så mycket.